Here I am again, applying my oils, and you, those of you who get on early, get to watch me as I'm preparing. And I thought today my first thing is fun. So, I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful week. I have a lot of oils here. I brought my computer upstairs and then realized I have nothing on my computer to share, so I today will again just talk. And we have a few minutes. I see some are already online, and I love those of you who are always early and who are here to support me. You have no idea how nice it is to see your names, your comments, your hearts as you do join us. And of course, I will wait until actually the top of the hour to give everyone a chance to actually hear the beginning words. It's just difficult for me to stand here and do nothing. Do any of you have that experience of difficulty doing nothing? And it's interesting because today we celebrate Vesak Day. This is the day that is celebrated as a very high energy day of the Buddha's birthday. And what is the great teaching there of being rather than doing? So, leaving you with that thought as I apply a few more oils, I'm going to apply the oil blend of joy. So I'm going to have fun today and revel in the joy of doing so. And I hope each of you has had an absolutely beautiful week of learning more and more about yourself. I do have my alarm set for 11, so when we hear that go off, I will actually begin the session today. Meanwhile, I guess it's, there it is. So, I will actually begin. Good morning, happy Sunday, and I was going to apply some believe, so I will now apply some believe. The topic that we chose for today is assessing. Let's just talk about assessing. I like the word assessing. Now, Stephen and I have our little debates continuously, and what you get from me is a combination of what he and I have discussed over the days and the weeks and the hours preceding. And Stephen loves the word test. Now, I know because I was a teacher. Now, Stephen is, let me give you some background, a great test taker. And so it's a word that's comfortable for him. Now, I was a math teacher, and I watched so many who were really not interested in the subject and who truly clutched up. The minute the word test was mentioned, it was like an immediate tense moment. And therefore, I do not care for the word test. And this is a period here in May where a lot of people are being tested or their assessments to go on. I personally, again, I have mixed emotions about assessments because most of us tend to assess ourselves harshly. Would you agree? So I'm going to kind of throw a little different thing. When I first selected this topic, it was in connection with the New Life Challenge, and I will talk about that a little bit because with the New Life Challenge that we offered, the final step of that is to send us your story of what has happened to you during the period that you were really focusing on your refinement process. So it's not about assessment. Actually, when we receive your stories, it is going to give us a lot of feedback on the way we talk about things. And if I'm truly honest, it's kind of going to be like some research for our next 2 books that are already in process. How we will explain things, what will be presented in what order. So your responses to us are very important to us. It doesn't mean that we will publish your innermost thoughts and feelings. It is about understanding what is the best way for us to present it. So in terms of assessing, I have looked at things a little differently. As I said, testing, I'm focusing so much on being in the present moment now, because most of my life was lived looking back at what I had done and assessing in a not too kind way of what I had done well and what I had done not so well. So forgiveness is going to be the blend that I'm going to apply next. I have so many oils sitting here always and never know which ones I'm going to pick up first. But forgiving ourselves for what we have done in any situation and for what we may not have done, as each of us makes the best choices at that moment that we are capable of making. Would you agree? And acceptance. The sacred frankincense anchors that energy of acceptance of who we are, what we've done, what we have not done, allowing ourselves and others our process. So, looking at assessing in a slightly different way rather than how much we have progressed from one moment to the next, we may look at it more as, where are we right this moment? Now, this was a kind of a light bulb week for me, because I have always been more of looking where we came from and where we're going and where we are now in relation, and then determining the next thing. And Stephen reminded me, Francis, we can be doing a momentary assessment of where we are right this moment. So as we are assessing our progress, it's not a matter of grading ourselves, so to speak, but rather of actually being present in the moment. Present time might be a good blend. I have all of the blends of the feelings collection right in front of me, of bringing ourselves into that present moment to see just where we are, what we really are doing at that moment. And again, this is without judgment. No judgment intended. It's to understand where we are now. Stephen is constantly monitoring me to see what my energy level is, where my energy is going. I'm very fortunate to have someone who loves me, who does this for me. And I kind of get lax about doing it for myself. However, he does remind me that it is my responsibility, and we all can take the responsibility for checking in on ourselves, not to judge ourselves, but just to see what really is going on. And I was shocked, truly, to see how things change so quickly. I know I've taught our energy changes in a millisecond. Everything can change. However, somehow I felt that I was more insulated, that if I created my sacred space here every morning and every night, that it was not a requirement for me to continuously stop and take a breath and pay attention. So hopefully this is going to be helpful for me in maintaining my balance and maintaining being in the present moment and having more fun in each present moment. It's not about how much more work we can accomplish, but how much more fun and enjoyment we can have within us so that will radiate outward. Now this morning when I selected my rainbow healing cards, I had been receiving this week True Purpose quite a bit and Crusader, cards that I might expect to be receiving. Today I had another one that it turns up from time to time, this authentic power, reminding me living in my truth. And the cards that I selected along with that made more sense than they may have made individually, because I also got the Artisan, which is all about allowing the creative flow. So often when we feel that we understand what our purpose is and what we are to be doing, we immediately set out with purpose, determination, goals, and check our progress, assess ourselves to see where we are, rather than allowing that flow of creativity to come through us. Am I making any sense or speaking to any of you? It made a lot of sense to me, because allowing things to happen can be more difficult for many of us than planning exactly what we will do. Life is not something that happens according to our plans. There is a greater plan out there that we don't know all about. And as it unfolds, if we block that flow, then we are eliminating so many possibilities from our agenda. So as we let go of that agenda, begin becoming more and more of our authentic self, understanding who we are, as our Gary series, grow actively refining yourself, then that flow will come into our lives more easily, allowing us to truly live our truth. So, as we move along, the other card that I chose this morning was leadership. And that really did come all together, because it's just a reminder that it is only as we are living our truth that we are true leaders. And leaders have nothing to do with control or manipulation, but rather it is about being who you are, who you were created to be, and allowing that essence to flow out to others, positively impacting and inspiring those whose paths cross yours. So I am going to apply some more of the blends. beginning with release, because that for me is a big deal thing, to release my ideas about the way things need to be done. Can any of you identify with that? So letting go of my expectations. How often do we have expectations? And isn't that what testing is all about? An expectation of a result. So letting go of those expectations, for those of us who are those super achiever types, may be the greatest and most difficult task that we face. Letting go of who we think we are so that we can become who we truly were created to be. So, taking another deep breath. This is, to me, just one of the great blends that Gary just insisted on including in these 6 blends of the Feelings collection. Inner child. Allowing that inner child, that wonder, that excitement. Many of us have forgotten the wonder with which a young child looks at the world. Look at a baby. This morning, someone sent a video of a little puppy digging and playing and getting a water spout and just having pure delight in that moment. And as we can create some of these moments in our own lives, the joy, the excitement, the passion that we feel will radiate outward to others. And then, of course, harmony, that 6th blend that Gary put in here. Starting with valor, I can't remember whether I put the valor on first because I've applied it several times this morning. But valor is such an important part. But then to just allow the harmony, the flow of the harmony that comes through when we are not judging ourselves, when we are simply checking in to assess what's going on. So, as we have asked in the New Life Challenge for each of you to do as your final step to be eligible for the prize, we have asked you to send us your story. And as we journal each day, I'm loving our new little tool, our My Journal, but as we are going through our refinement process on a daily basis with our awakening alignment and our evening integration, we are creating a habit that can be done far more than just twice a day. And the journaling is what is going to allow you to look back without judgment, to just see really how many changes have occurred. And this is what we would love to hear from you, the changes that you may have experienced. Not an assessment in terms of judgment of, oh, I could have done this differently, but rather your heart speaking to you about what really is important in your life at that moment. So we look forward to these last weeks of the New Life Challenge and to beginning to receive your stories. For those who are participating, I hesitate to say I promise, but I'm going to say I promise that I will get some guidelines for you written down, and they will be posted in the New Life Challenge in our closed group. Just to give you guidelines, it doesn't mean you have to follow every one of them. It's just to give you an idea of what you might include in your story. And I hope that each of you will have an absolutely amazing week of transformation, of happy and fun and joyous assessments of where you are in the moment, understanding that you will reach your highest potential and have that opportunity to reach that highest potential in every single moment. What better way can we possibly exist than being in each moment and reaching our highest potential in that moment? Have a beautiful week, lots of fun. Love you. See you next Sunday.